And how did you first become involved with that?
My background is that I've always been into impact sports like boxing, Thai box, odd karate, you know, all the reality type stuff. So I've been training for a few years. I was actually in America back in 2002 and I got opportunity to meet Avi Nadia, and I found out that within 2 or 3 minutes of talking with Avi that this was a guy with a different type of style and system. So we conversed for a few months, and then we arranged to do a level 1 instructor course in the UK, which were first held in Wakefield. Since that time, like I say to people, if they refer back to when they look at KAPAP in the early days, back in them days, if you'd have typed in on a search engine in Google, you probably got 14 search results. If you type in KAPAP today, you'll get nearly 500,000 results. So KAPAP's come a long way from the early days with Avi and I. We're on 5 continents now, so with clubs throughout the world and as well as in the UK, Europe. So it's been a remarkable, if you like, epoch of the Israeli martial arts.
Cool. Can you cover the process of you becoming chief instructor, or was it going through the different?
To actually get to the level of teacher, which there are 4 levels to achieve first, you're level 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then on to teacher. It's taken me approximately 14 years to get to that level. Now I've spent a lot of time travelling. In the early days with Avi, we introduced KAPAP to Australia and into Europe, so there was a lot of time travelling, doing seminars and going round. It also gave me the opportunity to spend a lot of time and take Avi's knowledge that he had to give, which some days we could be there 8 hours a day. So it's been a long old hard slog, and get moved to level 2. I went to the States to do level 2 and 3, and then here in the UK, as you progress, moved up through to level 4. And then eventually, when Avi thinks that you're good enough and you can go on your own, he'll actually move you to the level of teacher. And he said, it's up to you, Sam, if you want to go, you can go and teach your own style or stay. So look, I still decide to stay with Avi because it's a great learning experience. We have access to some of the world-renowned instructors like Avi, John Machado, people like that, which are a great experience that we can offer to our own students within the Avi Nadia Academy.
Cool. And can you talk a little bit about the sort of origins of KAPAP and the differences between KAPAP and...
The origins of KAPAP started back in the 1930s, which originally started over as like Haganah, which was to protect when the Israelis, the Jews, went to Palestine. From there, a strike platoon was formed called the Palmak, and they were introduced to KAPAP, which was originally the walking stick method. You had people like Michael Horowitz that was in there, Yehuda Marcus, Gershon Koppler. They were the mainstay at the beginnings of KAPAP, and a lot of people think that it was Krav Maga that was the original. It was actually KAPAP, and if people research them origins, they'll see. And it's come a long way from them early days in the 1940s, especially the strike platoon in 1941, up to modern day KAPAP now, where Avi Nadia was a member of the Imam, and he actually overhauled the whole system of what was taught to the Imam, which is a police unit, an elite counter-terrorist police unit. Unit 216 made the Serit Matkal. So these are specialist units that actually use KAPAP, and it's come a long way from its original origins, and it still evolves today. And Avi Nadia is one of the big contributors to that, as well as the guys like I've just mentioned previously. So it's a good ethos to have. We do strive to have loyalty, integrity and honour, which is still a part of a big core part of the whole ethos of KAPAP.
Cool. Just one question. Do you think sort of the fact that it's used in, like KAPAP is used in police units, means that it has sort of advantages and is is better than Krav Maga, or is it just an alternative?
Well, we try not to get into say who's better than who, but the thing is that Krav Maga is more of a linear system, tends to more operate on the one line, whereas in KAPAP we teach, if you like, the 360 angle, that we can move around the attacker or attackers, because look, there's one thing about fighting is people will understand it's not like fighting in a boxing ring or within traditional type martial arts. You get what you get, so you've got to be ready to be fluid and move around at that. And that's why we employ the principles like push-pull, 2 points of contact, balance displacement, relative position, because they're all important. But within that, you give people techniques and the confidence to actually adapt to any situation that arises. And I think that's the major difference between ourselves and KAPAP. But that's all evolved through the police and military tactics in KAPAP. You know, that okay, we can teach to the police and the military, but we have to taper it to suit the civilian as well, because obviously there's certain moves in that you just wouldn't employ as in a civilian. It's mainly in the military arena. So, but we do take a lot from that, and it works well. And a lot of people always have the question, what is the difference? And that's the difference. We're constantly evolving and being fluid.